All right, my friends, welcome back to Frog Boy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about the AMD RDNA 4 8800 XT that we now have some more leaks about, and this is quite exciting, to be completely honest with you. But I definitely caution you to not put as much. Take it with a grain of salt. You know, because we always get these leaks that come out and they say that, you know, the power is going to be this way and it's going to be that and it's just going to, you know, do everything. And, you know, normally even like we always come away feeling a little bit like underwhelmed. And that's why I really don't like to try to overhype on the channel, just because of the fact that it's like, come on guys, you're going to get overhyped. You're going to impulse buy this stuff. And then you're going to be like, oh man, it doesn't do this, or then you're going to have to sit there and find ways to like whatever. So as with the PlayStation 5 Pro, I went into it underhyped, and it tended to over deliver for me. So that is kind of the way I'm looking at RDNA 4. Now, I've been pretty adamant about telling people, yeah, go ahead, upgrade your PC now, get a 7900 XTX if you can get one. I definitely think you will be in a good spot, and with the leaks and everything that we're hearing, pretty much just saying the 8800 XT is going to perform at 4080 Super / 7900 XTX Rasta and 45% better ray tracing. The game that they were using to claim 45% ray tracing is Resident Evil, and if you have an AMD GPU, you already know that you can literally run that game very well, very optimized. So like I said, grain of salt, ray tracing. I'm still kind of at that point, guys, where I like ray tracing. I think it looks good in some games, but it's not necessarily a feature that I have to have right now, just due to the fact of what it does to performance on AMD cards, and also on Nvidia cards. For if you want to be realistic, I think that it is a very cool technology, but I think that it absolutely is not worth the performance hit that you take while playing a lot of these games. Now, if AMD can actually bring RDNA 4 to the market with an ML upscaler, AI upscaler, and be able to dramatically increase the performance on ray tracing, well, here's the thing, like ray tracing, regular ray tracing is already pretty much fine. It's at 30 series GPUs level for, and sometimes better, like the 7900 XTX easily beats the 3090 on a lot of that ray tracing stuff from like the older games. So right now, I feel like the biggest thing for AMD would have to be able to significantly increase the path tracing ability of the AMD GPUs of RDNA 4 to even make a splash big enough for anybody to care about it. And I can tell you right now that I'm not hopeful. Like, I'm not hopeful. Like, I don't think that path tracing in its current form is at a point where we should be recommending that people buy GPUs for that. Now, if Nvidia could bring, say, 4080 Super path tracing performance to like 60 series cards, then I'd be like, okay, maybe now it's worth taking seriously. Just because of the fact that like path tracing is still very heavy, and it absolutely obliterates even 4090s. Like it really does. Like you have to use like performance freaking, I don't know. You have to use like DLSS, you have to use it at a lower quality, you have to, you know, go down in resolution, all of that stuff. So I don't know if it's a feature that's necessarily worth 100% having. Like obviously, you know, Cyberpunk is still one of those games that people are 100% shouting from the rooftops, and thankfully there's not so many path tracing games that it puts you in a position to where you always feel like you need to upgrade. I like AMD. I like what AMD does. I feel like AMD has a lot more usable features for me to actually, you know, enjoy my gaming experience, as opposed to just, you know, trying to get a win over a feature that's barely usable sometimes. And to me, that is more important, is having an actual gaming experience as opposed to worrying about these features that might not work, that might work, that you know what I mean? Like, I would much rather just game and completely take those completely out of the equation and just game and enjoy the games. Because right now, guys, I feel like games look better than they ever freaking have. And with ray tracing out of the equation, you don't even need upscalers 90% of the time. You can just play the game and enjoy it. And I'm perfectly okay with waiting a couple more generations for ray tracing performance to really mature and become a staple. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay waiting a little bit longer. Now, so RDNA 4 8800 XT, 45% better ray tracing, they're claiming. 4080 Super, 7900 XTX raster performance with 25% less power usage. So essentially that would put it closer to like your 4070 Ti Super-ish in power range, which isn't bad. Definitely a welcome change. That means clearly the Nvidia GPUs are going to require significantly more power and the AMD ones are going to require less. If AMD can really bring that performance to the $500 GPU market, I think they've got a good card on their hands. But I have little faith that AMD is going to do that. They're going to come out and it's going to be like $699 or whatever the 7900 XTX is selling for at the time. I think that's where they're going to end up pricing this 8800 XT. I do. Like, if it's really that good, there's no reason for them to price it lower than that. That is still an incredible deal. The one thing that I would like to see, though, on the 8800 XT is 20 gigs of VRAM. I would like to see 20 gigs of VRAM, not just the standard 16. I would like to see 20. Just give that card all the, like, everything it needs to fully succeed. You know, especially if they're going to come in at like $600-700 for this card. If they do 500, I feel like everybody's putting that $500 out as like wishful thinking. They're like, yeah, man, we need that $500. I really do think that they are setting the gaming community up for another failure, man. I do. I personally don't see AMD selling you 7900 XTX power and better ray tracing performance with the AI upscaler. I don't see them doing that for $500. They have to make money. It doesn't make any sense. The 7900 XTX is still an amazing GPU. I definitely, that's my assumption. I'm going to set my expectations at about $600-700. I'm not going to fall for the whole $500 thing, and then I'm not going to pout, piss, and moan when the damn GPU is $700 and be mad that AMD didn't listen to me because I'm better than I'm smarter. No, man, I've been very happy with my AMD experience. I do not freaking regret spending the money that I spent for my AMD GPUs. I don't. If anything, I feel like they are easily priced competitively against what Nvidia offers. I use more AMD features than I ever did Nvidia features. I like AMD image quality better than I ever liked Nvidia image quality. I have always felt right at home, every time I pop in an AMD GPU and I see the games running on my screen, I'm blown away. I think it looks incredible. I think the colors look amazing. I think the experience, it literally jumps out at me. It pops in a way that Nvidia has never popped. Nvidia has always been this this clinical sharpness. That's what I'm going to call it. Clinical. It's always looked clinical, boring, just like this is the way it is, robotic, and I don't really care for that. Like, I know that people absolutely look at that and like, yes, this is premium. I get it, bro. Like, I'm happy for you. Be happy with Nvidia. Like, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just telling you that, damn, dude, I love the way AMD looks. I love how it looks like freaking cake, man. It looks cake, yummy. It's so yummy. It's so cakey, and I love it. It just looks delicious, and I've never felt that way about Nvidia. It just looks too clinical, too sharp, I've never really cared much for the way DLSS looks. I don't really like it that much. It's just, and so like when I'm looking at PSSR, And I see those FSR flaws, and it doesn't like over sharpen the whole. The only game that I've seen so far that looks over sharpened on PS5 Pro is The Last of Us Part 1, and everything else is just looking pretty dang good. Like I'm like, ooh, dang, those visuals look pretty good with FSR or PSSR. So I'm hoping that FSR 4 kind of retains some of that AMD look to it and doesn't go all full clinical. I would really hate to see that, but I think a lot of people would appreciate that. I think it would definitely bring over a whole bunch of the Nvidia guys. But yeah, set your expectations realistic. This GPU, if it really is 4080 Super 7900 XT Rasta power, you're paying $600 to $700 for this. They're not selling you that for $500. They are not going to go out and build FSR 4 ML learning and then give you way more ray tracing performance. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. They are not selling this thing at $500. So set your expectations right now before you freak out. And Intel announcement tomorrow, Battle Mage. Is Froggy gonna buy it? Absolutely, definitely. So stay tuned for that. As soon as it comes out, I will do my best to get my hands on the most expensive one. I'll buy the most expensive, not the most expensive, but the highest tier of the Battle Mage setup as soon as they become available. Yeah, I'll get one, and we'll definitely put it through the 30-day process at least minimum to experience the experience of Intel GPUs. I'm definitely willing to do that, and I think it'll be fun, to be completely honest with you, to see how it's going to do the channel, to see how it's going to do editing, to see how it's going to play games. That's going to be cool, man. Like that's another. I want to see that entry level, you know, Intel experience and see how that compares to the experience that I used to have with the AMD. So, and I might actually pick up an AMD GPU in the class range or whatever spec wise, you know, to see how those do. But I definitely am getting an 8800 XT. So, all right, my friends, if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.